Good evening, VLCM. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome to our Victory Hour of Power. I am so excited to be on today. We're doing virtual today because it is a very inclement day here in the great city of Austin, Pflugerville, Round Rock, Hutto, Texas, all of the surrounding cities. We're experiencing weather that we are just not accustomed to. And so today we are virtual, and I hope that you guys take an opportunity to enjoy what we have in store for you all today. My name is Pastor Tamica Jackson. My name is Tamica Lunsford-Jackson. I am the executive pastor of Victorious Living Christian Ministries, and this is our Victory Hour of Power, and we are virtual today because of inclement weather. And so I hope that you have an opportunity to, or take opportunity to share, like, comment, all of the above, so that your friends, your family, those who follow you can experience victory today. VLCM, we're always doing something great, something expansive, something absolutely amazing. And so we want you to make sure that you stay tuned, stay in touch with us. We have Black History this coming Sunday, February 23rd. Put on your Black History attire, wear some Black History colors, invite your friends, and be a part of our service. Service begins at 10 a.m. this Sunday. We will have our Black History Sunday. Also, this is our last Sunday. Every Sunday in February, we celebrated Small Business Sunday. So this Sunday will be nothing short of amazing. It's our last Sunday in our front conference room. Our entrepreneurs will be set up in our front conference room for you to partake, find out what they do, buy some of their goods, and please come out and support each of our entrepreneurs at VLCM. We have quite a few of them. Also, this Sunday, we have a big announcement. I want you to be in the building for our big announcement. Our pastor will be giving us some good news, some amazing news. And so please, please, please be in the building for our big announcement this Sunday, right during service. Also, after service, man, VLCM is always on the move, and we are going to be a part of our very own Dr. Bettina C. Bunton will be a part of a relaunch service for Apostles Pat and Latanya Patterson, and we are excited. It is going to be at 4:30 in Elgin, Texas. Please take a screenshot of this flyer so that you can come out and be a part of the relaunching service for this amazing ministry. You do not want to miss it. Apostles Pat and Latanya Patterson in Elgin, Texas. Amen. So today I have the pleasure of leading today's Bible study. I'm excited. We've been in a sermon series. Kind of a sermon series, if you will, and it is about discipleship. And so for this Bible study series, Pastor has been doing a phenomenal job of teaching us how to be disciples. What does it mean to be a disciple? If you have missed any of our Bible studies, they're in person only now. You've missed a treat. But today you get to experience this portion of the series on discipleship, and I want you to kind of lean in. I really want you to be attentive. I'm going to go ahead and share. You do the same. I believe that I am streaming on Pastor Bettina's personal page. I believe I'm streaming on the church's page. I believe that I am also streaming on the church's website, and I believe that we're streaming on YouTube. So if you take an opportunity to be a part of any of that, that means you can send this link to your friends, your family, those who are not on Facebook. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to find us and I am going to share. Hey, y'all. Now, y'all know that I am not as technologically sound as I would like to be. So if you're talking to me, I'm going to have my phone right here. I have my notes over here. So if I look a little Just know that I'm looking in all kinds of directions so that I can really do this, okay? All right. I have a few scriptures that I want for us. I want us to be attentive to. All right? Because my title for today is, y'all see it? Y'all see my title for today? I know why we broke. I know why we broke. I know why they're broke. I know why there are seasons where we just can't seem to catch a breath. And I'm not talking about we not broke because it's tax season. I'm not talking about we're not broke because we know how to borrow $20. I'm not talking about we're not broke because tomorrow's payday. I'm talking about why we're broke more days or more seasons than we would like to. So just because the title may have been like a don't tune off. This is going to be so good. Turn with me to Luke chapter 14. And while you're turning to Luke chapter 14, I'm going to read it for your hearing. And I want to give honor to our pastor, the angel of this house, Dr. Bettina C. Bunton, for giving me the opportunity to be before you. I don't take it lightly anytime that I can come on and be a part of our victory, our power, anytime I'm able to stand before you all. So now listen, y'all want to be in tune. Y'all want to be a part of this. Let's turn to Luke chapter 14. I'm starting at verse 28. It says, suppose one of you wants to build a tower. Won't you first sit down and estimate the cost to see if you have enough money to complete it? For if you lay the foundation and are not able to finish it, everyone who sees it will ridicule you, saying, this person began to build and wasn't able to finish. This is something, and I'm just laying the foundation. This is what we call good stewardship. We want to be a good steward over what God has given to us. Say, I want to be a good steward. Steward, Steward. I want to be a good steward over what God has given. I don't want to waste a good blessing because I didn't steward it well. I don't want to waste a good blessing because I didn't know what to do with it. I don't want to be irresponsible in the sight of God. You know, a lot of times we fuss at our children, or we fuss at children, or we see someone who has something and they seem to be irresponsible with it, with money, time, keys. And I don't want to be irresponsible with what God has allowed me to manage. This includes all that God has allowed me to manage. I want to be responsible. So it says, who builds a tower and they don't first sit down and estimate the cost? How much is it really going to take me to complete it? What is it that I need to do in order to accomplish to get to the finish line? And so that is found in Luke chapter 14, 28 through 30. That's all about being a good steward. But let me mosey on down because I have a lot to unearth today. Let me mosey on down to Proverbs chapter 6, verse 6 through 11. And if many of you have been with me a little while, you know that this is one of my favorite passages of scripture. Proverbs chapter 6, and I'm going to start at verse 6, and I'm reading in I think this is the True Living Bible version. It reads like this: take a lesson from the ants, you lazy fellow. Learn from their ways and be wise. For though they have no king to make them work, yet they labor hard all summer, gathering food for the winter. But you, all of you, all you do is sleep. When will you wake up? Let me sleep a little longer. Sure, just a little more. And as you sleep, poverty creeps upon you like a robber and destroys you. And it wants to attack your full armor. Man, whoo, that is so loaded. It is so loaded. It says take a lesson from the ants. And it says we're lazy because the ants are wise. They learn how to they learn how to labor all summer long. when food is plentiful, when we're having picnics, when we are out in the open, when we're eating and we're gathering. He says that's when you decide to do your hardest labor, when everything is plentiful, so that you can gather food for the wintertime. But wait a minute. It goes into something deeper. It says, wait a minute, but all you want to do is sleep. Come on now. All you want to do is lay down. It says, when will you wake up? We have this colloquialism, and it says to be woke. It says, but when will you be woke? When you see that, wait a minute, we are living in an unprecedented time, that we need to be aware of what's going on around us. We need to see that although things seem to be as normal, some things seem to be a little bit off. It says, wake up and don't try to sleep a little longer, but then you retort back and say, let me sleep a little longer. Sure, just a little more. And as you sleep, poverty creeps upon you like a robber and destroys you, and will attack your full armor. When we decide that we want to push things off to a different day, we began to push things off too long. Oftentimes, you ever hit the snooze button? You're supposed to wake up 7:20. You say, I'm gonna push the snooze button. I have come to the conclusion that snooze is 7 minutes and 53 seconds. I pushed the snooze button one time and I got a little comfortable. Oh, I can push it again. That's only 7 more minutes and 53 more seconds. I'll push it again. That's an average of 15 minutes. I'll run out of bed, hurry up and brush my teeth, hurry up and do what I need to do, because 15 minutes, what is that? Then all of a sudden, 30 minutes have passed by. And it says poverty has snuck up on you. Time has been wasted, and now you're trying to recoup the time that is lost. It says your armor, your full armor has been attacked. Your time has been attacked. That equates to what our pastor has been telling us. In one season, she told us to sow, she told us to save, and she told us to trust God. And then another season, she told us to build, she told us to buy, and then she told us we were going to brag on God. I found all of that in Proverbs 6, verses 6 through 11, when it says we must be self-motivated, self-disciplined. Remember, our sermon series for Victory Our Power is called discipleship. One of the root words, and I'm way past myself in my notes, is discipline. In order for us to get past where the season that we're in, and I know you're like, but things are okay. There's toilet tissue at the store. There is food on the shelves. There's still people have jobs. But have you seen the people who lost jobs? Have you seen the DOG talk about pulling back funds? Have you seen a reduction of people saying, man, there used to be really good jobs out there, but now we're seeing things not as plentiful as they once were? We are probably more than likely going into a season called recession. Recession means we have pulled back. It means we don't have as much resources as we once did. That's not what I'm here to talk about. When we become self-motivated and become self-disciplined, we begin to have a strategy, not only for today, but for tomorrow. We have to be prepared. When we talk about sowing, or we talk about building, there's a time that we have to realize, oh, we need to be unified and on one accord like these ants. We need to have one mission in mind, and that is either to sow and to build. In order to build, we have to have had something to pull from, some resources to pull from in order to build. Or we need to go down into the trenches and find a safe haven to build in. I'm getting too deep for my own self. Okay. Then we want to be able to buy. That means we have to store up some things. It tells me that these ants stored up all summer long so that they can have food for the winter. And then we'll get in our season where we can brag on God, because we'll realize that God gave us strategy a long time ago. While people are panicking, while they're looking for tissue, while they're looking for canned goods, while they're looking for resources, we will have already figured out the strategy long before it got real, real bad to be able to brag on. You know what? God told me that a long time ago. There is a scripture in the Bible, and it says that God will not hide anything from his prophets. All right. If you were on the live yesterday, and I know it was wow, I know it was women of worship, but Pastor told us, she said that we all should be able to prophesy. We all can hear the voice of God. We all can hear his voice. Okay, I'm getting too deep. We're just talking about money. I just want to tell y'all, I want to tell us why we're finding days where we're broke. I want to tell us why we're finding days where that our end of our week is not meeting our money. We have to find a way to become recession proof. Time that time cannot be wasted by putting off for tomorrow what we should be doing today. Today, buy extra can of canned goods. While you have an extra $10, buy an extra pack of tissue. While you have a little bit extra, make sure that you do what you can today so tomorrow we're not panicked, okay? The ant made sure that it wasn't panicked because in seasons of famine, it found food in its burrows. It was able to pull from its resources. We have fewer, we will find that we'll have fewer days of borrowing from Peter to pay Paul when we properly save, or i.e. use our money wisely. And today I want to talk about how we're going to use our money wisely. We can stand on faith, we can walk in faith, we can abide under the shadows of faith, all we want, but without putting an action behind our faith, faith alone is dead. It don't bear much fruit if we have not put principles into practice and find strategies to save our money. Okay, I have one more scripture. Ecclesiastes chapter 10, verse 19. This is my last scripture, potentially. Ecclesiastes chapter 10, verse 19 says, a feast is made for laughter, and wine maketh merry, but money answereth all things. Huh? Money is an answer. Money can help us solve a lot of problems. And I know people say, well, it can't solve every problem. No, it cannot. But money can get you therapy for depression. Never mind. Let me not go through this list. I won't tell y'all. Money, the Bible says that money answers a lot of our problems. Let's explore how to answer some of our problems today. In our sermon series on discipleship, discipleship means the act of following and learning to become more like someone else. Okay? We must be committed as disciples. We must be willing to change as disciples, and we must learn how to follow as disciples. Discipleship also takes a relationship, a mentor, a pastor, a leader, or an instructor. Also, discipleship involves learning to love what is being taught by said relationship. Let me look at the camera. Discipleship means you must love what is being taught by said relationship. We come to church because we realize that pastor is probably going to say something that Holy Spirit told her that we need for not only yesterday, but tomorrow. Okay. So today I want us to learn that something may be said that make you fall in love with what I'm getting ready to say. I'm not saying fall in love with me, but fall in love with the information, the knowledge that is going to be shared with you today. The root word of disciple is discipline, and discipline takes learning in order to be obedient to it. You have to learn to obey. Okay. You have to learn to obey because we are born into sin and shaping it into iniquity. We're born into disobedience. We're born into wrong thinking. We're born into bad habits. So we have to learn to be disciplined, meaning we have to break our will for what is the right thing to do. Also, discipline means we have to listen. Whew. Discipline means we have to listen, but we have to listen intently with the idea that something is going to be shared that is going to help us. I promise today is going to help somebody. Discipline also takes following instructions and the strategy that is being taught. Discipline means we have to follow the instructions or the strategy that is being taught. discipline also means that we have to trust the process. Not every day is going to be good. Not every strategy is going to be good, taste good to us. But in the words of Mary Poppins, just a spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down in the most delightful way. Trust the process, and we will get through this. We will be able to accomplish the goals that we are setting out today. All right, my only ask, today's lesson will allow us to create and instruct us on how to be better financial stewards and caretakers of what God has blessed us with. And my only ask is for us to remain committed, to desire change, to follow along, and to build this relationship by asking questions and engaging in the comments. And so if we were at church, I would say, look at your neighbor and say, I'm ready. So since we're not in church, can I get you to say, I'm ready in the comment section? Because I am about to give you some information that I not only know that works, I've seen it works, and I'm working it. Okay. So we're trusting this process. We're building a relationship. We're going to engage in the comments. We're going to follow along, and we are desiring change for this committed relationship of better financial stewards to be to take place. Okay. Budgeting is a discipline. Budgeting is a discipline. Thank y'all for the readies. In order to act within the guidance or the guidelines of this, we must be disciplined. Budgeting is about being responsible. And when we do not make a budget, we're just guessing. Every single time we spend our money, we're just guessing. If you go into the store and you don't have a budget, you're just guessing. Oh, I guess it'll work when I swipe my card. Oh, I guess it'll work when I pull my money out of I guess at the end of the month, it's going to work out for my good. We really be testing God's patience when we don't have a budget. Also, when we budget, it means that every dollar I have has a job. It means that I'm going to tell every dollar that I have where to go. I'm going to give it an assignment. When I put together a budget, I'm going to tell my dollars what they need to do. I'm going to give them an assignment. I'm going to give them a task. I'm going to send them out and where they should go. Also, my personal belief is that there is no excuse for writing a budget. There is no excuse for writing a budget. If you have a notepad, a crayon, a pencil, a mascara, an eyebrow pencil, a napkin, you can write a budget. But a lot of times we don't write budgets because we don't necessarily know how much money we make. And I'll get into that in just a moment. Why is budgeting necessary? It helps us not to overspend, meaning we don't overspend on our wants. We don't underspend, meaning we are making sure that we have our needs met. And it keeps us from going into debt and also keeps us from living beyond our means. Budgeting also helps us to ensure that we have enough money to accomplish our goals and to plan for the future. So I want us to take time to make a budget. Some pitfalls that we fall into, even when we make our budget, and listen to this, budgeting pitfalls, vending machines, convenient eating, meaning fast food, snacks, convenience store. You went to get gas, but some kind of way you found your way into the convenience store and you picked up a $3 bag of M&Ms and a $4 soda thing. Also, another pitfall is binging. We say, oh, I'm not going to eat because I didn't bring my snacks and I don't want to fall to the vending machine. So we fast. We don't fast and pray. We just omit the eating process. And then once we get to a place that we get in our car, we find the first thing that we can eat. And normally it's something bad. And so another pitfall is binging or undisciplined eating habits. We allow our bellies to be our God. We allow our bellies to tell us what we should have and what we shouldn't have. We allow commercials, and they do a really good job. If a commercial, and about 60% of us after this are going to desire something that I said irresponsibly, like the M&Ms, and something unhealthy like a soda, just because marketing and the way our minds are programmed. As soon as you see a commercial, you now want that thing, you salivate for that thing. So our undisciplined eating habits, and guess what, this me, expensive coffee sometimes causes us to fall into the pitfalls of going without, or out of the means of our budget. Sorry. All right. This is what I wanted to talk about. And this is where we can start taking notes, because I usually like to do this in person because I have a whiteboard and all kinds of things. But I want us to determine our income versus our expenses. And if you had a sheet of paper, I would tell you to figure out what your income is. That's how much you actually make, how much you bring home, that dollar amount that you actually bring home, and then round down. So if you bring home $983, I want you to round down. I bring home $980. I bring home about $950, because when you're talking about income, you want to round down, because you never want to go with you don't want to spend every dollar, and you never want to go above what you actually bring home. So when I talk about income, I usually say round down a little bit. But when I talk about expenses, that's how much we need in order to make our ends meet. That's how much our bills are, the things that we must pay out. Those are expenses you want to round up. So if your utility bill is $83, I normally say my utility bill is about $90. Why? I want to round up, because I want to make sure that I am in the parameters of my budget when I start to adding and subtracting things. Okay. Also, find out what is the minimum needed to survive. What is it if someone said, what is the minimum? I want to make sure that your needs are met. I want you to know what your housing cost is. I want to know what your utilities average, your transportation, your groceries, your phone service, your car insurance, and number one, your tithe. Because tithe is always number one on our list as believers, as Christians, as people of God. We want to make sure that we honor God first, because using the activities of our limbs, we can't buy that. With all the money in the world, I guess we could buy a new knee. But when I went to Walgreens, they told me they didn't have any on the shelf, because I needed one the other day. And the man said, no, we don't have no knees. But as soon as we get some in stock, I'm crazy. All right. We also need to set savings goals. And many of us, and this is what I want you to lean in, many of us try to save before we can ever determine how much we're spending. We put I'm sure on someone's board, their little first of the year, what do you make? The little picture board. What do you call that thing? What is the little thing called? Somebody, anybody, text me. The little board we make, and we have these parties, and we go buy those magazines and newspapers, and we clip them all out. Anyway, at the beginning of the year, somebody said, I want to be able to save. And they never said, I want to know how to make a budget. Vision boards. Thank you. Y'all the best. All right. So on our vision boards, we said, I want to be able to save X amount of dollars a month. But we never said, I want to know how much my income and expenses is, and I want to know how to budget. Point number 2. In order for us to save, we have to first pay off our credit cards. And I know that's unheard of. And I know many people don't teach it like that. They're like, no, you got to save. But let me tell you something. As of February 25th, the average credit card interest rate in the United States of America was 24.21% for credit cards. The average credit card, now I know there are some that are a little lower, and I know some that are a little higher, but the average is 24.21% of the interest rate on a credit card. The average interest rate for your savings account, your normal savings account, not your high yield savings account, but your regular savings account, is less than 1%. It's not even a half a percent. It is 0.41%. The average interest rate for your savings account is 4.41%. That means for every $100 you charge, you're paying them back $124. You are giving somebody 24 extra dollars every time you swipe your card for $100. And you're not making, it will take you, in 1 month, you'll give 24 extra dollars, but it will take you about 6, 8, 12 months to make $24. Ain't that crazy? Absolutely crazy. Asinine. Unbelievable. Detestable. Like, how in the world does it cost us more money to pay it back than to save it? Shouldn't it be reversed? But this is what is happening to us. This is why we're broke, because we are swipe, 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 swipe. And then we're saying, oh, but I'll save. But we're paying out more interest each and every month, more interest than we're bringing in. All right. So our first goal needs to be to pay down our credit cards. And I'm going to put that to the side. Just take that little tidbit of information to put it to the side, because in order for us to get to the paying off credit cards, we first need to manage what we have in our account. We need to manage what we have in our lap. So we have to focus on how to stop overspending. And overspending can be debunked by budgeting. Budgeting keeps us from overspending, and the first place we overspend is at the grocery store. So let me go ahead. And many of us will say, she's about to stand on that high horse. And I'm not. I'm just giving us practical tips on how we can stop overspending. And this is where I start. All right, grocery lists are imperative. If you go into the grocery store without a list, you're bound to overspend. If you go into the grocery store without a plan, you're going to overspend. If you go into the grocery store hungry, the marketing team has made it so that you can impulsively buy some Oreos, some candy at the counter, something on a end cap that you don't need, but you went to the grocery store unprepared. All right. So in order for us to combat that, we have to make a list. Because if you go in there without a list, you are bound to buy something that you don't need, something that you already have at home. You don't need another jar of spaghetti sauce. Mm-mm. You don't need another can of green beans, because you're within the parameters of a list. I have $100 to spend at the grocery store, and if I don't itemize the things that I need, then I'm going to overspend. Sometimes we overspend with a list because we don't know how to shop appropriately. All right, these are the things that we need on our grocery list. I'm gonna put it up right here. Whoa, I'm gonna put it up right here. Yep. Grocery list. You need meat, you need vegetables, you need grains, you need fruit, you need to figure out how I'm gonna come up with a leftover plan, and then you need a snack if you have children or if you are a snacker person. All right, I'm gonna put it up one more time. You need meat, you need vegetables, you need grain, you need fruit, you need something to figure out about a leftover, and you need snacks if you're a snacker person. When I talk about meat, you want to find out what is on sale at the grocery store. I don't care where you shop. Every grocery store have a circular or a sales, what we call them, sales paper, or something, advertisement, to tell you what is on sale that week. And that is where you need to possibly spend your dollars. What is on sale? Also, when we talk about meat, If what you eat is not on sale, because I know some people like, I don't eat pork for whatever purposes, can't digest it or dietary, whatever. Um, the safe choice is always chicken. Little chicken is my best friend. Hmm. If we talk about finding what's on sale at the grocery store, we find out what's on sale that week, or we find the chicken, and the most inexpensive portions of the chicken is a whole chicken. That means nobody has cut it, they didn't season it. We buying seasoned chicken at the store. We have got to be. We are some lazy Americans when we buy seasoned chicken. Don't buy that. You don't know if they wash that. Don't buy no seasoned chicken, because guess what? It was probably old. They rinsed it off a little bit in the back, and then they threw some of that red seasoning on it to camouflage them spots on it. They packaged it real pretty, and they put it in the lit up section. Ouch. They put it in the lit up section so that you can buy. Don't buy that. Wash your own meat and season it a little bit. A little salt and pepper, garlic salt, little seasoning salt go a long way. Okay. Then we want to make sure that we have vegetables. And I know we want to buy fresh, but sometimes fresh vegetables can be expensive. Or let's get some canned vegetables or some frozen vegetables. But make sure you have vegetables in your grocery list. All right. Then grains. That's your rice, that's your pasta, that's your oatmeal, because you can do oatmeal for breakfast. Um, and honey, the second best thing from a chicken is a potato. Chicken is high on the list. Potato is equally high. Guess why? Because I can make a potato for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, because that potato can be diced for hash browns. That potato can be baked for a whole meal at lunch. That potato can be cut up for french fries to go on the side of some chicken at another time. We can do a lot of things with potatoes, and when we are talking about staying within the parameters of our budget, we have to make sure that these are the things that are on our list. Also, little bread, because we can put that chicken on a sandwich. We can make a little toast for with that bread. We can even make the bread sweet and dip it in, make it in some French toast if that's your thing. There's so many different variations, but because we don't think outside the box, because we don't sit down, and we're not like that ant, we don't prepare. We've got to start preparing to stay within the parameters of our budget, so that we stop being broke. And then fruit. Now, if y'all buying them grapes, leaving them in that the little crisper because you forgot about them, what I've learned to do, and what I did with my children, I bought them, I took them off the vine, because children are lazy, some adults are too. Put it in a colander, sat it in the refrigerator in plain view, so that they're easily accessible. And so we'll stop throwing away good fruit. So, but buy what's on sale. Guess what? It's not watermelon season. Don't go pay $12 for the watermelon that's cut up in the cellophane. And they get us real good because it looks so sweet, but it's not watermelon season. My grandma say, don't buy that stuff that's out of season and make you sick. All right. So you buy what's in season and you stay within the parameters of your budget. All right, I'm gonna keep going. When I talk about leftovers, all of those things that you make can be made into a leftovers. Turn it into a soup, flip it into a casserole, mix it into a smorgasbord so you can make it seem like a new meal. My mama was good at that. Smorgasbord Friday is what we had. Whatever was left in the refrigerator, pull it out. Figure out how you want to make it. Once we got a little older, if you want green beans and french fries, go for it. Don't go together, but eat it. It makes your belly full. Then one day you can fry it. Fry it one day, smother it on day two. It has purpose. And when we are on a budget, we're on a fixed income, when we're trying to get our debt to income ratio down, when we're trying to pay off those credit cards, we don't have the luxury of saying we don't eat leftovers. We cannot allow our children to think that they're too good to pull out a sandwich, to flip something together and put that together. When I talk about meat, buy some tuna. It's okay to eat a little, pull that chicken off that bone, dice it up, and make some chicken salad. We have to find ways to stay within the means of cooking. If you say I'm too busy to cook, that's what crock pots are for. Instant pots are for time management. Air fryers are your friend because you don't have to buy oil. You don't have to buy a whole bunch of oil when you put things into the to the air fryer. And these are common things you can find them at the thrift store these days if you need some of those extra appliances. Also, uncommon cuts of meat can be a blessing when they're on sale. So, uh, the assorted pork chops. I don't know what assorted pork chops, but I've eaten a many in my day because guess what? They may have been $3 cheaper than center cut. They may have been a few dollars cheaper than the ones that look so pretty and they just make them all nice and cute. No, these are assorted, meaning one a little like this and the other one a little like this, and one is hanging on by a wing and a prayer. Assorted pork chops is good. Bags of leg quarters. Yes, it's a little messy, it's a little nasty. You pull all that stuff out and then you put them in bags or wrap them up into some cellophane and you make sure that you portion the food out so that you can stay within your means. Also, if you have children, this is something that I think parents should do. We don't have McDonald's money all the time. Pack some snacks, put them some Cheetos in a bag, some raisins, whatever it is that they like, fruit cups in a bag, have them in your armrest and pull that stuff out and give it to those kids so that you can make it home in time to cook, to pull something out, to warm something up so that you don't feel guilty that you picked your kid up and you didn't have anything for them to eat. Put an extra sandwich in your lunch bag to cut that up. You eat half, let them eat half, and y'all talk about how their day went until you can get home to make the budget work so that you can cook and have a fresh meal for them when they get home, because this is what is happening. Fast food, although fast, it triggers our brain to be hungry again in 30 more minutes. There are things in the fast food that cause us to be hungry in a little bit sooner. Our belly feels full immediately. However, later our brain says, you haven't eaten all day. And that is what is happening in the fast food to keep us in this cycle of eating fast food. Also, fast food can get expensive if we don't eat it in moderation. If you got to run through the drive-through and you have three or more people, you might as well just go home and cook. Honey, get you some pancakes out the box. Listen, my kids, when it was time was of the essence and things we had to do, we had to go to church, we had to go to Bible study. We had breakfast for dinner sometimes. Why? Because it's easier to scramble some eggs, put some bacon somewhere, a little toast, and they were full and they were happy. And it was upside down day and they could enjoy food at home. Also, fast food is becoming a gateway drug to keep us lazy and to keep us overspending, because the more we eat it, the more we want it, and the more we get into this cycle of not having to plan and prepare for our families with love, cooking and stirring and being standing at the stove to cook some good food. Who I stayed on that a long time, and I do apologize, but I hope that was. Let me look because I haven't seen y'all talk to me in a while. I want to make sure that what I'm saying is what's necessary because you know I've I've had people tell me that they didn't grow up learning how to make grocery lists. When you create a grocery list, say on Monday we're going to eat meatloaf. On Tuesday we're going to, because Monday after you eat it on Monday. Tuesday you eat it as a leftover. Wednesday you make spaghetti. Thursday you eat it as a leftover. And Friday we pull all this stuff out of the refrigerator and we make sure that we eat it. We're not throwing things away. Okay. And then if you don't eat it after that, now there's a time limit to how long you can keep some things. Freeze it. When we have dressing for Thanksgiving, freeze it. put it in the freezer, because come January, you might want that dressing and it's just as fresh and delicious as it was when you ate it some. But by freezing it, that means you're preserving it so that it can still taste good and taste fresh. Did any of that make sense to anybody before I move on? Did any of that help anybody? Make a list of what you would plan a list of what you want to cook. And from that list, figure out what you need to purchase from the grocery store. That way, when you get to the grocery store, you have a game plan. That way, on Monday, you already know today was meatloaf day. I needed to pull this meatloaf out. I needed to make sure that I season this meat so that when I get home from work, or put on the crock pot, so that I know where I'm going. I don't seem like I am a rat running around in a race, or a chicken with my head cut off trying to figure out how I'm going to prepare food for me and my family. Also, ways to counteract overspending, because overspending can become habitual in some seasons. And the only way to stop the bad habit is to stop the bad habit. We have to keep it from forming. So when we go to the vending machine every day at 3 o'clock, we program our mind that every day we're going to have a food crash and I'm needing to go to the vending machine. And now the vending machine, they're so crafty. You can tap the vending machine. Did you know that? You can tap it and they charge you a convenience fee for tapping the vending machine. So not only are you eating some stale chips, they was $2.50, and then they had a 60-cent convenience fee. Now you just paid $3 for some chips that you could have easily gotten out of the pantry at your own home. And so we have to put a stop to bad habits. Stop to going to the gas station for a quick beverage. We have to stop making this for me. I wrote this on paper just for me. We don't need a new pair of shoes every week. I mean, every month. Do we? We don't need a new pair of shoes every month. I'm still overcoming. Amen. But we have to counteract the overspending by making breakfast at home, making our own coffee, taking our lunch to work. And so those are just some ways that we can counteract the overspending. We can go to Aldi's. If you are struggling with staying in the confines of your grocery budget, start at Aldi's. Aldi's have some good deals on some things that we may not think are at those kind of grocery stores. Also, purchase the store brand. Sometimes the store brand items made in the same factory of the name brand items. They just, for legality purposes, can't put that name brand on them. They are not 500 grit maker places. Them the same grits. Kraft is the same grits as Good Value or whatever. And so they just put them in different boxes, right? Also, um, I'm talking about budgets, guys. So make a grocery budget. Plan out your meals. Make sure that you're doing right by yourself and your family by eating leftovers. Make sure you're not throwing away all that good fruit. Make sure that you're purchasing what you're going to eat that week or that month, or those, within those 2 weeks. Also, budgeting helps you save money for emergencies. We would have less stress and anxiety if we knew that there was an emergency fund. We would be less stressful and have less anxiety if we knew that we had money somewhere for a flat tire. We would be less stressed and have less anxiety if, when a sick family member if someone gets sick, that we have co-pays saved for that day. We will have less anxiety if, when they talked about job loss, and if we had emergency funds. And so when business slows down for my entrepreneurs, we will have less anxiety if we live within the confines of our budgets. And if you need more help with your budget, and I know I've done an overview, but if you need help with your budget, I am available. Email the church, info@vlcm.church, and I'll sit with you to go over your budget so that you can stop overspending on things that are within your means. You budgeting is within your means. You going to the grocery store, that's within your means. We can't control some things, but there are some things that are within our control, and so we should do a better job of controlling those things. Underspending means that we are neglecting ourselves from the things that we need. Sometimes you do need a new pair of shoes. Sometimes you do need a coat. I was talking to somebody and she said, "Oh, I don't have a coat because X, Y, and Z." But you need a coat. And so when we underspend, we tend to neglect ourselves from the things that we need. For what? That was, if you didn't have on a coat today, no one was giving you a pat on the back for not having a coat. They were looking at you probably like, a little strange because you don't have a coat on, because it was 26 degrees this morning. Also, if you have lots of money left over at the end of your paycheck, this is something I want to talk about for underspending. That means that you are not as charitable as you should be. What? That means you haven't done something. That means that there's room in your budget to be a little, to give a helping hand to somebody else. There's room in your budget to go to reach back and help somebody else. You who what does the Bible say? You who have been restored, go back and get somebody else so that you can help restore them. If you have a lot of extra in your budget, find a charity, find somebody to help, find somebody who is in need, and see what you can help them with. The Bible says, to whom much is given, much is required. And there's a requirement in the kingdom. I'm talking about kingdom, because the outside world, the people who have not yet been redeemed, whom we dictate as sinners, those who are not in churches, they are very philanthropic. They know how to give to charities. They know how to leave a legacy, an inheritance, a trust fund for their families. They have filled the charities. They have their name on somebody's window pane, on somebody's tile, because they know how to give back. It's just us sometimes who are a little stingy. I don't want to be a us. I don't want to be stingy. There are times when we underutilize our talents, our time, and our treasure because of fear. Where are you sowing? Where are you sowing your seeds? And I know some people don't believe in tithing, but there comes a time when we have to sow a seed because of seed, time, and harvest. And so if you don't have a seed in the ground, when time, you waiting on the harvest, but there's nothing in that ground to harvest up, because the time when you could sow, you didn't sow. All right, that's back down. Okay. VLCM is good ground. All right. Also, when you budget, it keeps you from going into debt. When you are intentional about keeping your good credit, you'll pay your bills on time. Budgeting help us pay our bills on time. One day I had to pay a late fee a few times. Now, I'm not saying I'm the end all be all, but what I did was I put my bills on my schedule. And so now I'll get an alert that says pay AT&T. Now this isn't the day that AT&T is due. I give myself, because I might press snooze that day, but I give myself like a week or so that I can pay AT&T on time, so that they are not saying, "Oh, you have a late fee," right? And so schedule it, put it on your calendar so that you are alerted, so that you don't have these late fees. Or if you're a big grown adult, put it on auto pay. Yep, you got to be real big grown and adult to put things on auto pay. But what you want to do is pay it on time. Paying them before time is ideal, so that you don't find yourself having to pay somebody. I don't want to pay you because I simply forgot one day. Also, know how much is due and when it's due and when the payoff is. I cannot tell you how many times money has been escheated to the state, meaning you've overpaid something. And so the account is closed, and now they've sent the money off to a pie in the sky account, which means it goes to the comptrollers because we overpaid something because we didn't know when the final date that it was due, when payoff date. Find out when your final payment on your car note is due. One, that gets in your head and you get all kinds of encouragement to pay it off, but also you won't overpay and you're more informed. And when you're more informed, you have the ability to have control over every dollar, because every dollar has a job, right? Also, we want to make sure that we don't live beyond our means, because we cannot afford it. I can't afford to live like some other people. And you may be in the circle with these people, but if you can't afford to live like them, if you can't afford to shop like them, if you can't afford to eat out like them, if you can't afford to go to the show like them, if you can't afford to go see B like them, baby, just stay home and watch it on TV, or wait till they get back and y'all talk about it. You'll be a great friend and you'll be a good listener so that you can hear and you can say, what? No, really? And then that can be a goal of yours. But what you don't want to do is put it on your credit card and pay $24 extra for every $100 that you spent unnecessarily just so that you can appear to live like them. Because living above beyond your means that you'll at some point be gasping for air in a different season. Because when you live beyond your means so much, it catches up with you later because you don't have enough funds, you don't have enough resources to recoup that beyond time frame. All right. Also, ensure you have enough money to accomplish your goals. We should have goals. Everybody has goals. If you don't have goals, the Bible says hope defers make the heart sick. And when we have hope, we want to make sure that we're able to catch up to some of those hopes, realize some of those dreams, go on some of those vacations, see, put some sand between these toes or some snow or whatever your desire is. We want to be able to say we did it. So we want to be able to aspire to do something greater than what we're doing today. That's what a goal is. Being able to aspire to be greater than I am today. That's what a goal is. And how do I do that? I do that by putting pen to paper and setting some things out. If you want to go to Paris, see how much a ticket is to Paris, a round trip ticket. Then see how much it is for a hotel stay in Paris. Then see how much some of the tourist sites are to see this and that, the Louvre and the all the things in Paris, right? And then want you to find out some restaurants around the hotel that you'll be staying at in Paris and put those things on paper, make out a whole itinerary. And that's what we call a goal, because now you've aspired to do something that you've never done before. And now you have given yourself a blueprint to achieve said goal. That's a goal. That's something that we need to make sure. And when we budget, we can give ourselves blueprints for our future, because then you start putting feet to the vision that you now have set before yourself. Now you figure out that I don't have to just do this. I can do something greater. You find out how to get a little bit more money in your pocket. You find out how to be able to pay off that plane ticket. Okay, now I got the ticket money. Now I need to get the hotel money. Now I need to get the spending money. Now I need to get the tourist money. And you now I got it. And I'm setting the date of what I'm gonna put on my calendar for my vacation to go where I want to go. Another thing we want to do is keep our expenses low and our income high. How do we keep our income high? I'm so glad you asked. In order for us to keep our income high, this is one thing I want us to know. And I thought I wrote it on my paper. I hope that I'm not boring you all. But I want us to realize that what's keeping us broke is staying on that one job for all those years. And then getting upset when the new person makes the same amount of money as you, but you thought that they were rewarding you for longevity when they were rewarding him because he was an innovative idea. He came in with ideas. He came in with a fresh outlook. And you thought that because you were there longer, they were going to reward you. But that's not the culture anymore. No longer are they rewarding people for longevity. I know it sounds crazy, but statistically, in order to make more money, you have to sell yourself. What I mean by that is you have to go to the competitor, tell them that you are, baby, I'm good. Oh, I got some things. I know some things. I got some knowledge under my belt. I have some systems under my belt. I have some creativity under my belt. I have some ideas under my belt. And I may just be the greatest candidate that you've been looking for. I am able to see things that people on your team have not seen before. Why should I hire you? Because at my previous job, I was able to train new candidates to come in and do the job. And I was able to set some quick reference guides, and I was able to do all of these things. And so I'm the greatest candidate for the job because the things that I did at that company I can now do for you. Oh, and by the way, yes, my what's the salary that you would make? You take your salary plus that bonus that you should have got that they overlooked you for, add that to your base, and then say, this is the base of what I want. Because guess what? No longer are we going to tolerate just that little bit that they was giving me. I want that little bit plus that rage plus a little bit more that they should have gave me. And now that's my base salary for this job. And that's how the people are making more money. And they're doing this every 2 to 5 years, every 2 to 5 years. And then they go back to that first company, and that first company see that, oh, you were here 7 years ago. Oh my goodness. And you've gone here, and you've gone to this company. Oh wow. I can't wait till you get back on our team and share those ideas and share that vision with us. And we're going to pay you top dollar to do it. Why? Because you were dependable in that situation. You were dependable when you were here in that seat. So I know you'll be even more valuable when you get to this seat. And now I want an AVP next to my name. I want a VP next to my name. I want director next to my name. I need some initials next to my name because I have credentials now. I'm not that same entry level person that I was 7, 8 years ago. Now I'm more esteemed. I'm more established. I have more knowledge. And that is how people are making more money on that one job. Why? Because they're able to shop around. They're able to find out that they are valuable. The information they know is valuable. You are valuable. Find the easiest way to find a job is when you have one. What are your interests? What are the things that you excel in? What are the things that you can do without even thinking? What are the things you can do that won't even seem like it's work while you're doing it? Some of you can write resumes. Some of you have the ability to do mock interviews. Some of you are able to do some creative writing, and those skills are marketable. Not only are they marketable on your first job, they're also marketable on a second income job. And a lot of us are sitting on talents. We're sitting on things that we could be doing from fear. And so our second stream of income is locked up in fear. Our second stream of income is not realized. It's not money in our pockets because we are afraid of what somebody else will say. Who's the audience in your head that is telling you you can't do that? We all have an audience in our head. We all have that one somebody that told us, "Oh, you stutter." We all have that one somebody in our head that says, "Oh, you're not that good at that. You're okay at that. You're not that good at that." And so that audience in our head becomes our fear. That audience in our head becomes the thing that we listen to, the thing that we allow to shape us. And now we find ourselves making just enough to get by, only dreaming about going to Paris without making the money to go to Paris and being miserable. Why? Because we didn't realize that money answers all things. All right. I'm going to stop right here because Victory Hour of Power is only 1 hour and I have exceeded my time today. I'm going to pick back up next week because there are some things I want us to know. We have to get more income. More income. There are 7 streams of income that will help us to be able to do more, to have more, to experience more. There was let me see. There's this one thing I want to leave us with. In order in this city, in the state of Texas, the average amount of money to make, let's see if I can find it. No. Doop-a-doop-a-doo. To live comfortably, the average amount of money that we must make in Texas, I believe, is about $80,000. That's to live comfortably in Texas. And if you live in Austin, you might need a few more $1,000 because the cost of living is high. And I'm not sure what it is in your state because I know I have people watching from all over the world. We're international here. So find out how much it costs to live where you live. Find out how much it costs. I'm not talking about how much you make. I'm talking about statistically what is the minimum that you should be making. And if you're not making that, shame on us. I said us. Because guess what? We desire more. We should be making more. So, homework, because I told you in this class, there was an ask, and I told us to remain committed, to desire change, to follow along, and build relationship by asking questions and engaging in the comments. Now, I haven't seen the comments. I'm going to go back and read them, and hopefully I'll be able to respond to some of you guys. But my ask is for you to do a couple of things. I want you to write down, figure out your income. Remember, our income, we round down. Your expenses, you round up. And subtract your expenses from your income, and hopefully you're in the positive. Okay? That's one thing. Income, expenses, subtract your expenses from your income, and hopefully you're in the positive. If you're not in the positive, this is what I want you to do. Go to Pastor Bettina's website. I think it's BettinaCBunton.com. And I believe that there is a download, and I believe there's 101 like side jobs. Let's see. But it's 101 things that you can do to increase your income. And I believe it is I don't know if it's this might be like $1.99 or something like that. And I want you to go through those things and jot down some of the interests that you may have. We're going to put some feet to our vision this year, and we're going to bring more money into our pockets. Why? Because we are brilliant. God made us fearfully and wonderfully. And he don't make junk. He don't make trash. He don't make mess. And so we have the ability to gain more wealth. It may take some time. It may take some effort, but we have the ability to do it. So how many, I asked y'all, income, expenses, subtract, see what your bottom line is. If you're in the positive, good job. If you're in the negative, and if you're in the positive, everybody go to Pastor's page, find that download, and find those 101 jobs or things to make income. Because for 2025, when you do your 2025 taxes next year, everyone should have a business. I wish I could tell y'all the benefits of having a business, the benefits of being able to write off some of the food that you eat, the benefits of being able to write off some of your cell phone usage, the ability to be able to write off some of your mileage, the ability to be able to write off some of the interest in the car that you use, simply because you have a business. And these are things that you need to make your business successful. So I gave you 2 asks. Hopefully you'll do them. But I have one more ask. I've taken time, effort, and I did it because I love y'all. But can y'all sow into this moment? I want us to be able to sow because I believe that the information that you received tonight was good. I believe it was great. I believe some of you ate well. And so if this was Chick-fil-A, Chick-fil-A has gone up. Chick-fil-A used to cost $8. Chick-fil-A now costs $24.99. I'm kidding. But if you could sow tonight, I'm asking for everyone to sow $19.99. I believe that this could be a $19.99 course, $19.99 course, $19.99 course. If you could sow $19.99 to VOCM, you can give via text to give. You can give via Cash App. You can scan the QR code. You can go to our website if you're giving on your like debit card or credit card or by those means. But I want you to give this information tonight was valuable. This information tonight was necessary. Even if all you did was learn how to make a a, a grocery list. I believe that that is something that is vital. And guess what? This is information that you could share with somebody else. So I hope tonight you were able to share this broadcast. Why? Because there is somebody else who's gasping for air simply because they don't know. I love y'all. Remember, if you want to sit down with me and we comb through your credit card statements, your bank statements, and you want to figure out how to budget effectively, I'm okay. I can do that too. Email the church info@vocm.church and we'll set some time on my calendar. Please remember to give. Please remember all the things that we have coming up. Please come to church on Sunday in your African attire. If you have any questions, let me see. Oh, I can give a question or two. If I'm not here next week, it's because I went over my time, y'all. I'm so sorry. Oh wait, where am I supposed to go? Oh Lord. Oh Lord. I didn't figure out how to go to the questions while I'm on here. And I do apologize. I'm gonna do better next time. Oh, I think I found it. No, I didn't find it. Y'all are good? Okay. I love y'all. Have a good night. Don't forget to sow. $19.99 is not that much for the information that you received. I'll be back next week with some more information, some more tips. It's going to get a little harder. But I believe that if you stick in, if you're committed to change, you can get it. I love y'all. Have an amazing evening. God bless.